listening to Mogul Talk with Marah. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Mogul Talk with Marah, where we dive into the brains and stories of moguls in order to create our own journey to success. I'm really excited to touch on this episode. I know it's something that we all deal with. It's mental health. It's mental health. It's mental wellness, mental illness. I wanted a different kind of feel for this episode. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like there are so many conversations that happen surrounding mental health and, mental wellness, but I feel like I hear a lot of the same things. I feel like the conversations are always kind of one note. And so I asked my Instagram Live fam, what are some interesting takes, right? What are some more specific things within mental health that I can talk about that provide kind of a twist on the conversations we always hear? So before we go further, I want to start us off with our quote of the day, as always. And today's quote comes from Thomas Edison. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." And I love that so much because that in itself is a mindset shift. That in itself is a shift on perspective of your mental health, of how you view the world, right? And the way that you view the world is obviously going to color your experience as you're here. So if you see something that is, like, for example, me, I don't believe that I fail, right? I don't believe that I fail. I believe that I am always winning. I always feel like I'm winning, like no matter the situation. Sometimes, obviously, situations are tougher than others, but the way that I've colored my perspective on the world is that I'm just learning how to do it better next time, right? I'm just learning how to do things better next time. I'm learning like, oh, okay, this isn't for me, or oh, okay, this is for me. But my perspective of the world is what creates my reality. And I know that, there's some separation of mental health there too, right? Because it's like, yes, you can have your perspective of the world, but mental health issues are still very much a thing that people deal with that, a simple mindset shift won't solve, but I promise you it will absolutely help. So as we dive into what we're talking about today, right, I decided that, this conversation about mental health is going to be mental health accountability and how our mental health can impact not just us, but the people around us, right? So I think that a lot of the times these conversations about mental health are so inwardly focused. They're so this is how you get better, and these are the things that you do, and this is how it's affecting your world and your life and how you move through life. And all of that is great. And all of that, it's necessary conversation. But I feel like sometimes there's a lack of accountability. In this space of, oh, I'm doing what's best for my mental health and I'm doing what's best, I'm doing what's best for me, which is important. And you should absolutely focus on yourself as one of the very first things, right, in your priority list. However, we cannot ignore the fact that our mental health impacts other people, right? I'm dealing with situations right now where people's mental health is impacting me. Some of the questions that, my IG fam sent in to me were about, how does your mental health affect the kids who see it? How do you handle people whose mental health is harmful to you, right? But let's say maybe you're in a workplace setting, right? And then another question, your relationship with your partner's mental health and how they deal with things and how they process things, right? We are not just affecting ourselves when we have poor mental health. We are not just affecting ourselves when we make not even poor mental health decisions, when we make poor decisions. And sometimes it's because of our mental health, right? So right now, like, to give you guys a personal example, right now, I do have a friend who's going through some mental health struggles, right? And it's like, you definitely have to have empathy, and you definitely have to understand that this is a human being who's really dealing with some real shit, right? But in the same breath, it's like, you have to take accountability for your actions that have led you to this point. Yes, your mental health has impacted you, has harmed you, and there needs to be healing there. But it's like, but what are you doing, right? What actions are you taking to solve the problem? What actions are you taking to solve the problem that is this mental illness, or this poor mental health? And trust me when I say, I know it's easier said than done. I absolutely get it, right? But it's like, if you say that you want more for yourself, if you want the people, if you want to positively impact the people around you, especially if you do have kids, especially if you are in a relationship, like, I love y'all so much, but you have to take some accountability for your actions. You have to. Another situation, right? There is somebody in my life that I'm becoming, I'm having like a deeper friendship with, a deeper connection with, right? But because I was triggered, right? Because I was triggered and I was like, oh, I have to protect my mental health. Like, I can't do this, right? I can't like do this with you, this friendship, this like whatever we're building. It's like, that like sucked. You know what I'm saying? Like, that sucked. It was kind of like sucky of me, right? Because I let myself get so triggered that I wasn't willing to listen to the other side, that I was ready to just chopping block, just cut it off. I can't handle this. And it caused a disruption that really didn't need to occur. But that was my actions, right? And I need to own that. And I need to take accountability for the fact that I lost it there for a second and I really didn't need to, right? And that has now affected that person's perception of me. That has now affected, like, how that person kind of shows up for me, because now they've seen this piece of me that may make them uncomfortable too, right? But I got to take accountability for that, because I did that. Yes, it was a part of, things that were happening with my mental health, but I did that and I need to take accountability for that, right? So when I'm saying like we need to take accountability for our actions, for our decisions, you cannot walk around like a victim. Like, yes, again, mental illnesses are real, and needing to heal those pieces of you are very real. But what are you doing to solve the problem? What are you doing to make sure that things like this don't happen again? You cannot run around with a victim mentality, and you need to find ways to take control of what's going on. And again, I know it's easier said than done, but I just feel like there's a lack of accountability that occurs when we talk about mental health and we have these conversations. Now I kind of want to move into how your mental health is affecting the people around you. Let's focus on children. When we are dealing with like these different mental health issues, like if you do have kids or you do have younger members of the family that are like looking at you or looking up to you, you have to understand they're seeing you and seeing your episodes and seeing your activity from the point of view of like, this world is new to me right now. I'm just trying to figure out how to navigate in the world. I'm just trying to figure out like what is right, what is wrong, what's acceptable, what's not, right? So it's like, if I see my mom or my dad depressed and laying down in bed all day, and it's like, oh, well, that's normal. That becomes normalized for them, right? When we our parents are having like these mental health episodes, right? Us as kids, when we're seeing it and it's like, oh, they're really angry right now and they're yelling at me and they're screaming at me, or wow, they're just sad all the time. As kids, it becomes normalized. It becomes normalized. We don't see it as, oh, they're having a mental breakdown right now, or they're having different mental health issues. It's, oh, this is just the way things are, right? And they begin to normalize those kinds of relationships. They begin to, oh, this is normal. It's normal for somebody to talk to me this way. Oh, I see my mom is constantly, commenting on herself and self-deprecating and talking poorly about herself. Well, me as a daughter, I guess maybe I don't look that great either, and maybe I'm stupid too, and those thoughts begin to become normalized, and it creates such an unhealthy environment, right? And so I almost beg you again, like if you're dealing with like these mental health issues, it's like, again, I get it, easier said than done, but take some accountability. These conversations that we have do not center accountability. And maybe I'm coming from a perspective, right, that I was able to overcome my depression, right? Or like my long-lasting depression. I was able to overcome, my thoughts of suicide and my attempts at suicide, right? I was able to overcome these things. And so I can understand why my perspective is, colored a different kind of way. But again, there is still a level of some of the decisions that I'm making right now, I understand are poor decisions. There's a difference between that and I'm just a victim of my circumstances, and even my poor decisions, I just have no control over them at all. And it's just not the case. You have to make the choices. You have to make the hard decisions and the hard choices to pull yourself out of that shit. Like, you cannot wallow in victimhood and self-pity if you want to create something for yourself and you want to make something for yourself and your family. If that means picking up the phone and calling a friend and being like, I need you to get me admitted into a facility that is going to help me. Or you pick up the phone and you say, I need help right now. I don't even have anything else to say, but damn it, I need help right now. I'm struggling, right? And then people can come together. Your community can rally around you, or, whoever you're calling. If it is directly like the doctor, like, I need something to rally around me to get me up out this bed, to get me to do something. If you know that you need to be taking your medication, take your medication. If you know that, you haven't seen sunlight and you ain't been outside in 4 weeks, it's a hard decision to make, but you need to get out of bed. Find a reason to get out of bed. It's a hard decision, but it has to be made, or your life is going to continue like that. You got to take accountability for what's going on in your world. And then, so my friend Paul, he says, I think it's really hard to know how to help someone sometimes. And it's even harder when they tell you that they don't want to be helped. Facts, man. Facts, right? So it's like when we think about how we are affecting other people with our mental health, it's like, if you are pushing people away, that's a decision, but you have to understand it's hurting them too. It's hurting the people around you to see you in pain and not standing up for yourself, not advocating for yourself, right? Even worse I won't say even worse, but like even another scenario, like one of the questions that were sent to me, like, how do you handle people whose mental health is harmful to you, right? What are we supposed to do when you are somebody that we love so much, and you are somebody that we just want to see you win and be successful and be happy, but you aren't standing up for yourself and making any changes to make your life better. So now when you're talking to people about, I hate myself and I hate, how my life looks right now, and life isn't supposed to be this way, and F everything and F everybody. It's like, well, damn. Yeah. Well, damn. And I get it's a very personal journey. To go on. But damn, think about everybody around you that is also trying to be there for you. Like, bruh, I love you. Advocate for yourself. Something. But you can't think that your battle is just your battle to fight alone, because it's not. Everybody around you is also carrying the weight of what you have going on. So even if you feel like you can't get up for yourself, right? Use the people around you as motivation. Use the people that love you, the people that support you. Like, use them as your motivation. Like, dang, I know they want to see me do well. I know it would help them if I did better for myself. Right? So you got to take the accountability, and you got to pick yourself up, and you got to show up how you supposed to show up. And man, don't let one of these clips go viral and people start dogging me in them comments, because I get that mental health is a very personal journey for everybody. And I get that, we want to make it just seem like this solo journey, but it's just not. The people around you are also impacted and affected. It's the truth of the matter. And I feel like the longer that people disconnect from like that reality of things, and the longer we have these conversations that are like, that are just disconnected from the reality of the situation, the tides of mental health in these conversations are not going to shift, and they're not going to change. So I'm sorry if I become public enemy number one. Mogul Talk had a good run. No, I'm just kidding. But, we just need to take more accountability. And yeah. So let's transition a little bit. I know we got some comments up in here. Yes, needed to hear that. I love that. Today I had to get outside, and boy, was it beautiful. Nature is healing. Nature is absolutely healing. It's absolutely healing. You have to find the thing. You got to find the things that are going to help you on your journey. For some people, it is medication, right? For some people, it is nature. For some people, it is sunlight. For some people, it is mindset shift. All of it actually takes a mindset shift. That's the basis of things. But you got to do things that are going to keep you flowing, keep you moving, right? And healing. Emphasis on the healing. Because, obviously I know some of you personally, right? And I've gotten to hear, your different experiences with mental health, right? And how to show up for people, and how, you're impacting the world around you. If I'm not showing up to do X, Y, and Z, I know that this community of people is not going to be enriched by my message, right? If you're religious, I know that God is sending me down a path right now that I need to be able to communicate and share with the world. But if I'm not doing that, I'm literally not following my path, right? And I think another part of this is purpose, right? Whether you decide life has no purpose, so I'm going to enjoy it and have fun with it anyway, or whether you decide life does have purpose and I'm going to enjoy it and fulfill that purpose. It's like that positive mindset is going to be the backbone of your decision making, of how you show up in relationships and friendships. And you know what I'm saying? And so again, like I said, I know a lot of this is easier said than done. And I have my own struggles with this as well. So don't think I'm coming off as just some fully healed person who is telling everybody else how to feel about their mental health because I'm healed and perfect. No. No, like I just said, I just had a mental episode the other day because I was triggered. I'm you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, this ain't that. This ain't that. I'm not going to make this a super long episode today, but I think that it's important to take accountability for your mental health. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I'm going to tell you guys something that just happened. I'm dealing right now. I have a friend who's going through some mental stuff, right? And I just seen a message pop down on my phone regarding what they are going through right now, like an update basically. And I'm just like, I understand that this is it's difficult. It's difficult, bruh. It's difficult. It's a hard situation to have to talk about. It's hard to, build that mental wellness back. But, like, damn it, you're affecting me too. You're affecting your family too. It's not just you. You are not alone in this. But you need to take the steps to save yourself. Nobody can save you. You have to save yourself. What are you doing to be your own superhero? Y'all, these are tough conversations to have. And there are so many resources out there for people who need it. So many resources out there for people who need it. And there's so many resources out there for, maybe friends of somebody who's going through this, or, partners of somebody who's going through mental health struggles. But we need to have these tough conversations too. We need to have the tough conversations too. An article is not enough, right? Especially when it comes to taking accountability. Now, can we all show up, better for our people who are going through these mental health struggles? I'm sure we can, right? But if the solution isn't like so easily presented to us, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. And so I just feel like the onus is on both parties, right? It's like, if this is somebody that's in your community, you got to show up for them and figure out how to show up for them and just show that you're there, right? Communicate with them in the ways that are going to help them. But also, if you are the person that's struggling, if you are the person that is going through the mental health, episodes and this mental health journey, right? You have to show up for yourself too. You cannot rest in victimhood. You can't expect the world to get better if you always exist in victimhood. If everything is always mental health's fault. If everything is always it's everybody else's fault except mine, right? It don't work like that. You got to be your own superhero sometimes. You got to be your own superhero sometimes, and that is just the fact of the matter. If you are never your own superhero, you won't get saved. You have to want to be saved. You have to want to make those changes to be better. But if you are not willing to step outside of that mindset of, oh, woe is me, like, it's just, I'm not even going to try. It's not worth it. If you can't step outside of that, you're not going to get better. And honestly, you're hurting the people around you more by not showing up for yourself. So one day at a time, y'all. Just one day at a time. I want you to also be gentle with yourself. I want you to also give yourself grace. You've made it this far, and that's not an easy feat. I know that, like, especially when you are dealing with all of the different kinds of mental afflictions. right? That could be happening to you. Give yourself grace, but show up for yourself. And if you don't feel like you can show up for yourself, show up for the people around you that love you. And if you feel like you don't have people around you, that's another thing too. If you feel like you don't have people around you that love you, if you feel like you don't have a community, there's support groups. And they can become your community. There's Facebook groups. You don't even got to get out the bed. Get on that phone. Get in that Facebook support group. Like there's people out there that want to hear you and want to love you and want to care for you. But you have to show up for yourself first, or literally nothing else can flow. So yeah, this is going to be a shorter episode today, but I hope that kind of drives the point through. And I hope that also, like, I'm able to reach those people too who are also like, you know, don't go to, listen, before y'all make a mistake. I do not want y'all to go to your person that is struggling with mental health and be like, look, you got, don't tell them what I'm telling you right now. Maybe say it in a softer way, right? Like, don't say it how I'm saying it. You need to take accountability. Don't say it like how I'm saying it. But maybe start to work some of those things in, right? Like, hey, let's go to the park today, right? And then affirm them. Like, I really love how you got up and got out to the park today. I love how you are, you know, in the living room with like some sun shining on you. That's like dope. You know, affirm people on their journey. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you. I appreciate all the comments. I'm here for you as well. And to everybody out there that may be struggling with something, like, my DMs are open. I'm not always super responsive, honestly, truly. But if I give you my number, then you can call me, right? So if you need help, if you need support, just reach out to me, and maybe I can redirect you to somebody who I know is also dealing with similar things and wants to build a community. I can send you like some resources, links to a Facebook group. I can't be your superhero, right? But you advocating for yourself and even sending that initial DM, even sending that like initial like I need help, that's you being a superhero for yourself and showing up for yourself. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode. So to everybody out there that is struggling, thank you for still continuing your journey here with us. You are loved. You are special. You have purpose. And even if in your belief system you feel like nothing has purpose, cool. Have fun with life anyway. You're already here. You deserve to have some fun. Might as well. Okay? To all of my people who are dealing with people who are struggling with their mental health, stay strong, give them grace, okay? And see how you can be of assistance, but also set your boundaries. Today is not a day where I can hear you talk about yourself in a self-deprecating way. I can't do it today, but look, let's make time for some lunch tomorrow or dinner later on tonight. Let's do that. You know, don't be afraid to set those boundaries for yourself, because if somebody is harmful to your own mental health, you can't save somebody at the expense of yourself. Okay? So, thank you guys so much for being a part of another episode of Mogul Talk with Marah, where we dive into the brains and the stories of moguls in order to craft our own journey to success, and in this case, wellness. So yeah, thank you. Make sure that you guys like, comment, subscribe, share this video, follow Mogul Talk with Marah across all platforms. We're going to be releasing every Thursday, new episodes every Thursday. And yeah, have a beautiful rest of your day. I believe in you. I see you. I'm proud of you, and all those good things.